Alright, I'm finally ready. I'm gonna pull the trigger and finally buy Hot Rod. He was a bit expensive, but oh man, I'm so happy I finally have this figure in hand. Wait, what?
No. Wait. Wait.
Oh god damn! Hey guys, Zephyr here. Don't worry, no, I did not spend $100 on a Hot Rod figure. Because I actually paid more than that. Nor do I care to disclose how much I actually paid for it. But that leads me to this video's topic. In a world filled with tariffs and the economy constantly going down to shitter and everything just getting more expensive overall, it makes sense that some people would want to start a little side hustle. You know, and try to make a little extra cash. But sadly, some people take it a little too far, so let's start off by visiting my favorite website in the world,
eBay.
Now, using Hot Rod as an example, as you can see, the prices are really high for this figure. Now, thankfully, because it did just get revealed that he is getting a reissue, it seems like some of the prices are starting to drop to reflect that, which is good. But that's because Hot Rod is an older figure, meaning that there's a bit more supply and demand for him. Speaking of supply and demand, let's look at some figures that are currently on store shelves. Because believe it or not, but not all online resellers are scalpers who wish to buy up as much product as possible and sell it for ridiculous prices. Here we have a couple of listings for 86 Scrapper, which is a bit hard to find, but for the most part you can find them on store shelves, and all of these prices are relatively the same as the MSRP. But then you get listings like these, which may look scary, but at the end of the day, it's just basic math. If you were to take these two figures and combine them together, that would come out to about 90 bucks. And this person's asking $110. So, not only would that person get their money back, but they would get a little bit of extra money on the side. But at the end of the day, that's how it should be. Keep it reasonable, keep it respectful, and I promise you, you will make a profit because a lot more people will be enticed to buy from you rather than someone who is overpricing their product. But sadly, there are a lot of delusional people who just did not get that memo. These are the types of people who seem to think that supply and demand means that you could charge whatever price you want and people will pay for it. No, that only works for mega corporations who have a chokehold on the world. But what makes these listings especially more infuriating is that both of these figures have either gotten a recent reissue or are about to get a reissue, and in the case for Optimus Prime, he is currently out on the market, which means that if you're lucky enough, you can actually find them on store shelves. If you're lucky enough. The reason why you can never find 86 Optimus at retail is because of people like this. These are called scalpers, and they're the scum of the earth. You see, what separates a scalper from a reseller and the reason why they're so hated and so despised is that scalpers will often buy up all of the available merchandise that's on stock, not leaving anything for anyone else, just so they can hoard it and resell it for ridiculously marked up prices. But oh no, it gets worse, because just when you thought they couldn't get any more despicable, some will go as far as to create bots to go on websites and buy all of the online stock, making it impossible for anyone else to queue up and buy online. Now you may ask, where do they get the money to do this? And to be honest, I don't know, because every scalper I ever encountered looks like they came from the local trailer park. What's baffling is that on the very same website, you can actually find original G1 figures being sold for cheaper than these brand new mainline releases. That's insane. But this is not a problem that's limited to just Transformers, because if we riff on the Hot Wheels community just a little bit, we'll see just how unhinged some of these resellers are. Let's take a look at some Hot Wheels Acceleracers, a series that came out in 2005 that proved to be one of the coolest things that Hot Wheels has ever done, so now any toys from that show go for ridiculous prices. Here I have the perfect example, because starting off with Power Rage here, this seller is asking $170 plus shipping. Do you want to know how much I paid for mine? Yeah, just $40. For a Hot Wheels car that is still ridiculously expensive, but $40 is still way cheaper than $170. Do you want another example? Okay, here's Baseline. This seller is feeling a little bit more generous because they're including free shipping, but they're asking $110. Do you want to know how much I paid for mine? 50 cents, not even $1. I got this at a flea market for 50 cents. And as you can see, it's the real deal. It's the real baseline. It's not a custom. I got this for 50 cents. Not even a goddamn dollar. And there are people charging hundreds of dollars for this stupid car. This last one is my personal favorite just because of how ludicrous it is. This is Reverb. This one car alone I have seen go for as high as $800. But if you really want to pour salt in the wound, buy from these two knuckleheads, because after charging you hundreds of dollars for a 1/64 scale Hot Wheels car, they still have the audacity to charge you shipping. Well, how about some alternatives? Like I've said, some of these figures are currently on store shelves and other figures get reissued all the time, so why not check the official website of the toy manufacturer? Here we have Ultra Magnus and the actual price that he's supposed to go for, as well as Scrapper and Bone Crusher, the prices that they're supposed to go for. Well, getting into the pros and cons of buying directly from the manufacturer's website, pro is that you are going to be buying it for the regular MSRP, the same price that you will see in an actual store and everywhere else. And it saves you the hassle of having to buy from third-party websites and having to deal with them upcharging and inflating the prices. Another pro from buying directly from the manufacturer is their policies on returning the figure if it's damaged. They will just send you an all-new figure, and it's no big deal to them because they're the ones who made it in the first place. Now, the only real con I can think of buying directly from the manufacturer is that a lot of them like to do bogus FOMO sales, so they love to do limited quantity stuff, as you can see with the Ultra Magnus and the HasLab adjacent to it. Now, there is a reason for this, because while they do have warehouses dedicated to just the online store and online sales, that is not their main priority. You have to remember that these are international toy companies, which means that they have to ship these figures out to the entire world, not just have a whole bunch of them saved exclusively for their online market, which means that whatever figures run out of their warehouse, that is it. Once they sell out, they usually do not put any more, because all of those other figures are already sent out to whatever locations they got sent out to. So if eBay is a no-go and the official website is oftentimes unreliable, where else should I go? Thankfully, there are plenty of trustworthy resellers. For example, Big Bad Toy Store, which has been around for basically as long as eBay and Amazon themselves, and they are considered the #1 go-to website for buying your toys. And what I love about Big Bad Toy Store is that they have no BS. They sell their product for the exact MSRP that they are actually going for. Optimus and Scrapper, they are supposed to be on store shelves. However, what is great about Big Bad Toy Store is that they do actually order more. They do actually restock. But let's say you don't like Big Bad Toy Store for whatever reason, or maybe you can't shop there because maybe you got 86 from one of their physical locations for punching a scalper's nose. Anyway, I got you. Entertainment Earth. They are also a highly rated, highly trusted online retailer. Much like Big Bad Toy Store, they also do your pre-orders if you want to buy a figure or put the money down early, and they do also order the figures whenever they run out, so they constantly bring in new stock if a figure runs out. They are a little bit more expensive, just slightly above the MSRP, but not enough to break the bank. And what I love about Entertainment Earth is that if a figure is up for pre-order, they actually tell you the estimated release of when that figure is coming out. But whatever you do, so long as you can avoid it, do not buy your figures off of Amazon. I know a lot of you may use Amazon Prime to make the figures cheaper, and it may seem very enticing because of the benefits, and you shop at Amazon anyway, so it's a trusted retailer. But the reason I say this is because Amazon is very hit or miss, because independent sellers, just like eBay, can sell on Amazon, and their prices can be very misleading. For example, if you're shopping on Amazon and you do not see a price listed, the only option is to hit the See Options button. That is a very big red flag. That is because once you do click on the listing, that is when you'll finally see the price and you'll see that it is way overpriced, like a lot of eBay listings. Why? because this is very likely a eBay seller who is also using Amazon. However, Amazon gives you the option to hide the prices, which is a lot scummier. However, what's really cool is that sometimes these companies fight back. Sometimes these companies listen to their fan base and they do stuff like reissues. And sometimes they'll make something entirely new just to cater to those fans. Here I have 2 confirmed listings for both the Hot Rod and Optimus Prime figures set to get reissued. Both of those figures are the exact same figures that I showed throughout this video that scalpers are charging a ridiculous amount of money for. And when it comes to the collecting hobby, reissues will be your very best friend, because reissues serve as the ultimate punch to the gut to any scalpers. That's because when a company decides to reissue a product, it seriously messes with a scalper's supply and demand. Because why would you overpay and buy from a scalper when you could just buy it literally anywhere else and pay regular price? But you might also say that this is nothing new, especially when it comes to e-commerce websites like eBay and Amazon. There have always been, and there will always be, mentally challenged people out there who think that their thing that they're trying to sell is worth hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars, when it just simply isn't, because the only business knowledge that they have is basic supply and demand. The less supply you have of something, the more demand there's going to be for it. Which is why whenever they do 5 minutes of research and find out that the thing that they have is technically rare, they will market it as such, because they will try to get every last nickel and dime for that rare thing that they have. So what's the takeaway from all this? Should we all just stop buying from eBay? Is eBay the site for the mentally handicapped to overcharge for stupid stuff? No, not at all. In fact, the actual takeaway from this video is a harsh truth that you're probably not going to like. You see, the reason why scalpers are able to do what they do and they sell stuff for ridiculously high prices isn't just because they have a mental disease, but because every once in a while, they do get suckers to actually pay up. It's your fault. Maybe not you, and you watching this, but I guarantee that someone who will stumble upon this video has actually paid a scalper and they won. And it's okay. I've done it myself. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I overpaid for that Hot Rod figure. Scalping is called scalping because it's predatory. Because they rely on the desperate. They rely on those desperate parents that need to buy whatever the hell that thing their kid needs to shut them up. They rely on the desperate person who is at the point where they are considering dropping that stupid amount of money because they're about to cave. It's just not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. They know that sooner or later they're going to hook some sucker who's going to cave and pay them whatever the hell price that they want. And so long as people like that exist, they're going to continue doing it. But you can fight back against it. The best way to fight back against scalping is to just not buy their stuff. Let them sit on that supply. They're going to think that eventually someone's going to come. They're going to hook some idiot that's going to overpay. But when they realize that no one's going to overpay and they're stuck with that stuff, they'll get desperate. Just like the person they're trying to attract. And all of a sudden, they'll have a whole bunch of wasted money and a whole bunch of product that they can't get rid of. Now, all of a sudden, that scalper who thought that they were going to game the system and take advantage of something by buying up all the stock just so they could sell it themselves is going to look like an idiot because nobody wants to buy it from them. Because when you make a scalper look stupid by leaving them stuck with all that product that they bought, that is when you, the consumer, wins. So as I close off the video, my 2 most important tips that I can give you are vote with your wallet and don't overpay. Like the video if you enjoyed, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel as it greatly helps out. And as always, thank you for watching.